Fine. Judging by the energy in the room, the most important session so far may have just been the coffee break. Luxury has always evolved, but today it's being redefined faster than ever. From how guests experience it, to how owners invest in it, and how brands deliver it across markets. Luxury today is no longer bound by geography, format, or tradition. Exploring this shift is our next panel, moderated by Mr. Saurabh Rai, Executive Vice President and Global Head, Innovation at Preferred Travel Group. Saurabh leads the development and growth of over 120 hotels and resorts across the region, while also serving as Global Head of Business Innovation for the Preferred Travel Group. Since joining the company in 2008, he has played a central role in expanding the group's regional footprint nearly eightfold, building long-term partnerships with some of the world's most iconic luxury hospitality brands. Joining him on stage as panelists are Mr. Adrian Messerli, President, Hotel Operations, Europe, Middle East and Africa, Four Seasons, and Mr. Saurabh Tiwari, Area Director, Middle East and Commonwealth of Independent States at IHCL. Gentlemen, welcome, and over to you, Saurabh.
Welcome.
Thank you for hosting.
Hey, Saurabh. Please.
Hey, Saurabh.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to see you all. Well, the paradox of luxury is a little bit funny in today's world. On one scale, luxury has never been more visible. On another, it's never been more questioned privately in quiet corners. We do live in a world of limitless choices when it comes to experience design, gourmet programming, access to lightning-fast logistics, unlimited consulting power. But here is the real contradiction. The more luxury we create, the tougher it's becoming to differentiate. So on today's panel that talks about luxury without limits, we are going to talk to some of the most revered and beloved hotel brands, the Four Seasons and the Taj Hotels, to figure out how are they reimagining, redesigning the whole concept of value, emotion, experience, and still making economic sense of it. So without further ado, I'm going to get started, so please put your hands together for Adrian from the Four Seasons and Saurabh from IHCL. Well, let me start by paying Hotelivate a bit of a compliment. It's one thing to put two Michaels or two Mohammeds together on the panel, but getting two Saurabhs is a first for me as well, right? So, and it seems a little bit unfair that Adrian is surrounded by two namesakes in here, so we are a man down. The gentleman from Minor Amir is not feeling too well. We wish him all the very best. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to do a random hot seat from the audience. So I'm just going to look around and just pick up anyone wildly to come on the stage with me. Are you ready?
Let's pick a show.
Ingo, you're my man. Please walk right up and join us in here. We need a wellness, well-being, and longevity plug here on the panel. Sorry to interrupt your coffee.
Sorry. Welcome.
Please. There's a handheld mic there for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump right in. First up, let's take a bit of a 10-year view on luxury. It's 2026. COVID is unseen, unheard. Many of us have never experienced a pandemic before. And fast forward to 2026. What, to your mind, has changed most drastically in this 10-year window? And out of that, what has been the toughest for your company to embrace and adopt? Adrian, maybe start with you, please.
Well, I think the first element is that there has been quite a shift in terms of how luxury looked in the past, which was opulence, which was a white glove approach, while today it's about experience. And this is the way that we have been observing the shift over the last few years already. And this is the way also how we shifted on how we see the brand growing forward as we identify respective markets. Now, what has been the toughest is probably, and I'm sure many brands have felt the same way, is to find the right talent. And to find the right talent specifically in those experiential markets that we start to venture into, and a talent that is less and less mobile. I would say this was the toughest on the journey.
Thank you. And hold that thought on talent, Adrian. I'm going to double click on that just in a minute. But Saurabh, let me kind of bring you into this conversation as well. Have expectations outpaced operational execution feasibility? Let me kind of dig a little bit further on that. When it comes to competition in the sphere of luxury, look who we are up against in here, right? Luxury residences, freestanding Michelin star restaurants, amazing, outstanding spas. Some of the homes of the millionaires who travel and are the consumers of luxury look as good, if not better, than luxury hotels. So from your decades worth of experience, talk to us about the execution feasibility on these expectations.
Yeah, no, Saurabh, you make me sound very old with decades of experience, but yeah, you know
Take that as a compliment.
No, thank you. So I really believe that luxury has not changed, really. Right? The essence and the core of luxury is still the same. People are still looking at top-class hardware when they go into a five-star establishment such as Four Seasons or Taj. They want to have top-class software, which is experiences and services provided. So the essence has not changed. And how our company has transformed, I'm representing Indian Hotels Company Limited, and we are on a cusp of expansions. So we're expanding, we have a new brandscape where there are various brands, and they might not be as luxurious as the brand Taj. For us to keep the essence, to keep the brand Taj at the core, and yet expand to different brandscape was one of our challenges that we faced.
Very well. Thank you. Ingo, as a globally revered wellness, well-being operator of GOCO Hospitality, and I was just studying your LinkedIn profile, there are 3 hotels that you're heading, Thailand, Indonesia, and 1 in US. Do tell the role wellness has played in defining, refining, and propelling luxury in hospitality forward. Just at a high level, please.
I think the future is about very personalized services enabled by technology. I think that's very clear to us. And I believe from a real estate or hospitality component, you want to have wellness-related services, longevity-related services, diagnostic-related services, all at your fingertips. And that is not done through the typical minor operating department called spa, wellness, fitness, whatever you want to call it. It is done by very strategically, very smart conceived concepts which enable the customer to enjoy a better life.
Great. Since you mentioned customers in here, I've actually written a statement in here and see how it resonates with you all. The modern luxury traveler is more informed, less impressed, and more values-driven. What has shifted most dramatically in their expectations, and what remains timeless?
I think, like I was saying earlier, the essence has to be there of luxury. But I think 10, 15 years back, the customers were looking at locations when it comes to luxury. They wanted a beach resort, and that was coined as luxurious environment. 5, 7 years back, when they were booking, they were looking at F&B experiences. Today, they look at how sustainable you are. Today, they look at different personalized experiences like Ingo was mentioning, and how a brand is able to deliver those personalized experiences. I think we talk about experiences a lot, but I think most important word for luxury is time. How much time do we spend as operators to curate great experiences? How much time do we actually spend with our guests? How much time do the guests have? They want very intuitive, very fast service, while we have to be spending time to curate experiences, but for a customer's perspective, it has to be swift. So I think that from my perspective, this is what is happening in the luxury segment today.
Thanks, Saurabh. You mentioned customers, Adrian. I'm going to go deeper into that theme, right? Particularly over the last decade or so, there has been a different kind of a pressure on luxury, which is pulling luxury towards lifestyle. Now, you represent and head a very traditional heritage luxury brand. Do tell, what's going on in the boardroom discussions of Four Seasons? How are you talking about or approaching the whole concept of lifestyle luxury?
I might challenge maybe a little bit the traditional. because along the way, we now have a 65-year history with Four Seasons that we actually celebrate this year. And along the way, the Four Seasons brand has always been innovating and has always been at the forefront of what might have been trends that then lasted forever. However, one thing that has not changed is the people that are at the heart of creating the experiences. And this is where I would say, because this is one of our key elements to success and one of our core pillars, is the culture. And the people ultimately are in the business of creating memories. And this is the business that we are in as hoteliers. And empowering our people to really unlock those experiences will not change. Today, where we see that the luxury traveler is, in average, 80% of the luxury travelers are between 40 and 60 years old. What we have is much more guest insights. What we have is that we can leverage AI to help us on our journey in order to surprise and delight, in order to further personalize the guest experience. But at the heart, it's always going to be our people. And our people today, independent on shifts, have really done an outstanding job in keep driving the reputation of the brand.
For sure. If I could just, swing to the opposite side of the customer group that Adrian just mentioned to Ingo and Saurabh, let's just look at Gen Zers and Gen Alpha. Saurabh, let's start with you now. Taj has this immense historic heritage appeal, not just driven by the Palace Hotel portfolio, but the legacy and the history of the brand itself coming out of India. How do you modernize the concept of heritage without sinking into a sense of nostalgia? Because that surely does not rub right with the younger generation. So just tell us how you're trying to, bridge this gap.
Yeah. So for that, what we have done, we've got we have different brands that cater to the millennials or generation Y, Z, and in the future perhaps the Alpha. So we focused on giving a very quick, very intuitive service from our different brands. Heritage hotels are there, and they will always be the classic lifestyle luxury, like you were saying, the classic lifestyle luxury. And the expectation level from the customer's perspective is that they want that kind of service. They want that elaborate kind of service in our palaces. But the modern generation is looking at different gadgets. They're looking at digital stuff. They're looking at the artificial intelligence to come to play. So our heritage palaces, they look from outside as beautiful palaces, but inside you've got all your modern technologies that cater to the younger generation.
Got you. Ingo, just staying with the same theme, please. Talk to us about how are these two generations, baby boomers on one side and the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, millennials, the newer category, how are they viewing the concept of wellness when it comes to luxury experiences?
Historically, luxury was often defined by the fit out, by the quality of finishes, by the beauty of the uniforms, and by seamless systems and processes in the service delivery, in the dining room, in housekeeping, front office, and related. The millennials, they don't care so much about having everything so perfect. They want a very genuine, real interaction. They want to be heard, they want to be talked to. They don't have the same, I have arrived and I can demand X, Y, Z. They want to genuinely connect to a product and utilize a product in many different ways, which is the reason why in wellness, I shared this earlier today, 40% of all wellness consumption today is Generation X and millennials, That has dramatically changed. When I went into the business 25 years ago, it was the baby boomers. The baby boomers were like 34% of the population having 70% of the wealth. While today, the wealth is not important. They don't buy cars, but they buy luxury trips and great excursions. So for them, it's the experience and the connection and the genuine interaction with the teams in the respective hospitality venues.
That's well put. I'm going to stay with you to help us connect, because I'm about to change over into the AI and tech section of luxury now a little bit. Could you just also talk about the younger generation, which is tech-forward, digitally native? How are they syncing up and consuming tech embraced and embedded in the concept of wellness?
Well, for them, tech is the left side and the right side. They use tech so much more smooth and efficient than we do in our offices. I can clearly say that the younger generation is much smarter utilizing AI as the older generation. I can clearly see this. It's kind of embarrassing because I belong to the older generation. But so technology is enabling to get better experiences, and they are much more familiar of how to get this. They are much more familiar of get information. They are much more familiar of efficiently utilizing AI in order to go and get what they want to have.
No doubt about that. Adrian, I'm going to come back to you, please. And, it's a particular joy for me to put you on the spot a little bit because I'm myself so curious about, a heritage brand's view on that. This is the good old debate about personalization versus privacy. Now, luxury brands are constantly on this, tightrope walk of trying to balance hyper-personalization with discretion. How do you personalize deeply without crossing into intrusion? Where does personalization actually drive incrementality of revenue? Can you just show some examples of how Four Seasons Playbook has delivered that result?
Yeah, so of course some of that aspect is governance and policies that are created in order to protect the customer's privacy. And ultimately, they are telling us how deep they want to go into sharing what they want to share with us. But one element that doesn't go away is observation once they are in our hotels. Mm-hmm. And observation that you don't necessarily track, but observation that you have your employees, our colleagues, act upon. And I think when I go back to the surprise and delight, those are exactly the elements where they can make a difference and where they are today making a difference. I was referencing before how we leverage a little bit AI in how we impact the guest experience. But the key element, and aside from an award-winning app that we have with the instant chat function, it's really who is behind it. It's not a chat bot. Ultimately, it's about the heartbeat. So we leverage that AI component with EI, with the people that are behind it. And I don't believe that this will change because this is what has made our brand really what it is today, and our customers still value that. So ultimately, that, in a long-winded way to say that you need to offer your customer a choice. Either they want to interact, and we are here to interact, and we have the people to do that, or a customer that decides to stay a little bit more private, and we are offering that privacy by not intruding in a way. But it's about the immersive experience. It's about how the customer has shifted, again, from that grand opulence of hotels. I think the physical aspect of hotel is something that is expected. And then it's what's happening within that beautiful box that still makes the difference. And this is where we double down.
Great. And if I am to just open it up to the panel, if there was one investment in technology that you think has really moved the needle in enabling the touch, enabling the personalization, is there a hotel technology that stands out or jumps out that you've been particularly fond of?
Well, if I start answering that question, it's really how we operate our back office. How we free up our people from producing report after report and make sure that we automate that aspect so that we have the people really on the floor with our guests and impacting that. And we have seen quite a few innovations along the way. If it goes from the simple revenue management systems, if it goes from the finance systems that pretty much do these reports on the press of a button, so that we can free up our people to be with our guests.
Got it. Thank you. Saurabh?
Yeah, Saurabh, I think technology for us is an enabler, right? We really believe on delivering the most personalized service without being over-intrusive. I'll give you an example of that. One of our hotels, when a guest checks in, a resort hotel where a guest checks in, we send a name that the guest, Mr. Rai, is checking in, and that text is received from the gardener to the butler, to everybody. And when Mr. Rai is walking through the resort, he's just checked in and he's wished by the gardener. So I think it's all up, so you feel personalized service, you feel great that, wow, gardener knows my name, but at the same time, it is not over-intrusive.
Got it.
You know, coming to your technology part, I think we as an industry, we've not made a massive difference in terms of adopting technology into our hotels. Yes, there are GRMS systems. Yes, there are certain things, but I think it's still very limited. We're using automation in some of our hotels in Dubai, where the guests can seamlessly check in and the passports are scanned, and it's a seamless kind of check-in. But still, there's a long way to go when I compare it to other industries. They're much more high-tech, and they're accepting and adopting more things than a hospitality industry is doing at the moment.
Thanks, Saurabh. Ingo, any quick comments on this?
It's an enabler technology, very clear, but I think I'm very interested what Google and others do now to get into the reservation and booking system in AI.
Sure.
I think that's where the next really big revolution will happen, because suddenly the booking formats will change, the revenue formats will change. Supposedly they don't want to take as much commission as OTAs and others. So let's see where this is truly going.
Thanks, Ingo. Now, just a last question on personalization and data management is to do with loyalty. We have two brands on the stage here, Four Seasons, that does not have a loyalty program. They've got their own ways to recognize loyal guests, but they don't have a program. On the other hand, Taj Hotels has a very big parent in Tata, and Tata Neo is the program that Taj Hotels and IHCL follows. And loyalty program really is perceived to be the largest repository of guest knowledge in the brands that have that program. Let's just have a little bit of a contrast of views in here. Adrian, starting with yourself, what is Four Seasons' view on loyalty? This is making the industry curious because there are only very few brands left that do not have a program. Mandarin also refrained for a very long time until they didn't. Then they created some collabs and JVs and partnerships on that. So please, over to you.
Yeah. We might not have a program that is in the face of the consumer. However, what we believe in, again, it's all about personalizations. We know our guests very well, and luckily they know us very well. So we have what we would call a shadow program, where some selected few are part of that program, and they know it. And then the other ones, they know that they are part of something, but they cannot really put a tangible hand on it, because we manage that in the background without, again, having a point system, without having a system where you get necessarily certain privileges when you go to the hotel, because our program focuses that we personalize the experience. And this is what has been successful for us so far in a world where you're absolutely right. People are oftentimes driven by potentially booking a hotel because they get points.
Right, right. Saurabh, for having a loyalty program that leverages on a non-hotel ecosystem as well at a shared luxury platform level, how does that benefit Taj Hotels?
I think it works perfectly for us. I think it's all about loyalty. The biggest brand for one of the biggest companies is their loyalty program, without mentioning the brand. So I think we really enjoy our loyalty program. We believe in it. Our customers, we have over 30 verticals within the Tata Group, 31 verticals, and all of them can earn and burn points through that loyalty program. So our customers really enjoy it. They get good value for money. At the same time, I completely understand certain brands like Four Seasons, who we all look up to. They have their own ways of creating loyalty. So it works both ways. And but I really believe in the loyalty program. I really believe that we should have more and more programs. More companies should adapt new programs. And I think the latest news that we have of Marriott Bonvoy sponsoring ICC, it talks volumes of how important a loyalty program is for any big brand.
Got it. Ingo, you had a very curious look on your face. Do tell.
I agree and disagree with both gentlemen. And I give you two simple examples. When I fly somewhere, I fly where I go the easiest way, the direct flight at the convenient time which I need in order to depart and arrive at the right time. It doesn't matter to me if it is Cathay Pacific or if it is Lufthansa or whatever it may be. So loyalty, I think, and I have all those cards and I use those, but I really go what is practical and right for me. And I stay in the hotel which is closest to where I have my meetings. And then a very different part I like to share. We bought last year 2 hotels, and they both come. One is from a big box, and one is from a sophisticated high-end luxury player. And we are a small company, very niche-oriented. And we improved the results in 103% and 146%. So with other words is, without any loyalty program, I improved the EBITDA from both substantially, no loyalty programs, good CRM, good being in touch, and simply managing and organizing this better. So I have a perhaps slightly different opinion there.
Thanks. By the way, this clock can't be right. It says under 11 minutes already, so we better speed this up. I'm just going to, club a few questions, if you don't mind. I want to focus on two categories in particular, which is to do with talent stroke culture and sustainability. So let's go with talent and culture first. So it's a two-part question. Part one, people make experiences come to life, right? I think, at least 3 sessions since morning, we have heard about paucity of talent, pressure on retention, especially in a market like Dubai. Adrian, how are you going about delivering a very consistently admired brand experience through a team which is constantly under a churn pressure?
I think there is certain aspects, a few of them, when it comes to talent and how we manage the new generation that is entering our industry. And I do believe it's no secret to any of us that during COVID, the industry as a whole has lost a lot of talent that went to either related or other industries. We have, before COVID, not had the need to have talent acquisition managers in our hotels.
I see.
This is one that was a big change that we had, but it was twofold. Number one, because we needed to become attractive, again, as an industry, for people to join us. And the other element was that we have a very strong pipeline of new hotels. And we always said, in order to drive our 4 pillars of success into the pipeline, into new hotels, we need a certain percentage of 4 seasons homegrown talent that packs their bag and goes there and helps us anchor who we are in those hotels. So we needed to accelerate that because it came pretty much at the same time to fill that pipeline as we lost the talent. Today, just speaking for Europe, Middle East, Africa, the 44 hotels that we have 48 fully dedicated talent acquisition people across the network.
That's an army.
And this is helping. But then the element that I'm discussing with the team is now we have all these people in the hotels that brings talent. How can we actually share that talent across the hotels in order to fuel that pipeline? And this has of late been our accelerator in order to bring them on board, for seasonize them, and then be able to ship them out to really successfully open the pipeline that we have ahead of us.
That's a great point. Saurabh, if I can just give this a slightly different spin in here about talent bench, right? A lot of brands in the industry are accused of not potentially doing enough in building a bench, investing in the education, hospitality education, training, schools, etc. Enlighten us on IHCL's commitment going backwards all the way to grad level people, students who are being ushered into the industry. Yeah. How is Taj going about it?
No, that's a fantastic question. I think the moderator will give the answer because you are from one of our schools. Jeez, so please,
he wasn't supposed to give that away.
I throw the curveball at you. Please tell us about the college and the first experience, the hotel school experience that you had with Taj and at Aurangabad.
Well, he did give me a fair warning that he'll put me on the spot. Well, I have the pleasure of being calling Taj my alma mater from the hotel school, which is a 3-year grad program. But not only that, I think the company has expanded the commitment since via several other programs as well. So I'm wondering if you can maybe shine some light on a few of those.
No, so Taj has the Aurangabad Institute that we have, and from there we have the management training program. We've got various different programs. We've got a general managers program where you can be a general manager for a small hotel under the age of 30. You're only eligible to apply for that program if you're under the age of 25. So at the age of 30 in our generation, baby boomer generation, which I am from, there was no way we would think of being a general manager at the age of 27. So that's something that we really work hard towards, the succession planning, giving back to the community. And this company stands for its people. We have these name badges here, the pins here, which has different colors. Right? So I've got a red color, which means I've been with the company for under 5 years.
Oh, I don't know that.
And then it gets green, blue, correct me, maybe Farah and Ashok can help me there. But you can get to a black color, and believe you me, in a place like Dubai, we've got so many of our employees who have been with us for over 30 years plus, and they're very valued. And we have a plan for them. Other thing we do is we take people from our talent pool in India, and we send them to various international locations where we have the hotels, for example, New York, London, Dubai, Maldives, Sri Lanka, and Africa. And they go only for a certain time. So only 3 years, we have a commitment that we will send you to an international location. And then they come back and they learn from the latest trends in Dubai, for example, and they use those trends, their knowledge, to teach the other people around. So that's a great program. I don't think any company has it. I've only been with Taj, like I was saying, for only 4 years. I've worked with various companies around the world, and it is by far the best company when it comes to the people culture. It's culture we put in the forefront. Our purpose to give back to the community we put in the forefront. So I think we stand for it. And like we said, technology and all these things that we speak about, they're all enablers. But at the end of the day, we're in a people's industry.
Of course.
So we need to give back to our people. We need to make sure that, that everybody around us grows, and is successful.
Chapeau, chapeau. Kudos to you guys for all the commitment. So again, a quick time check. Let's do the question on sustainability. Maybe, thanks for popping all the questions in here. Maybe we'll take 1 or 2 of those, and we'll finish off with 2 quick trivias, okay, as a speed round. So, Ingo, over to you on sustainability as value creation. I wrote this down. Sustainability has shifted from obligation to aspiration, or so we are told. Where does sustainability genuinely enhance luxury, and where does it struggle commercially?
Let's tackle briefly commercially. In certain parts of the world, if you're not totally ESG compliant, you don't get a loan from any bank, you don't get any investment. So you need to be ESG compliant. In some countries, in some continents, larger and lighter, but you need to comply to certain standards commercially. Regeneration, we are at a time where consumption is really everywhere. We consume too much and we go too lightly around and consume things and toss them away. I believe particularly in the wellness industry, which is, as I said, it's a niche market of this, sustainability, regeneration, building cautiously and with the environment and with local materials and all those good things is de rigueur. It needs to be done. It's important, and it will only expand in the future. In particular, after Mr. Trump changed yesterday all those beautiful guidelines of reducing, how do you say, reducing
the carbon footprint?
Yes, that will go only bigger.
Okay, thank you. Just a yes or no question, please. As you walk around the hotel shop floors and see the guest profile, have you started to observe a visible segment of travelers who value sustainability as their #1 decision criteria?
Listen, I cannot answer this with yes or no.
Adrian saying, I'm not on shop floors anymore.
This cannot be a yes or no question because it's a very relevant question. And I think all of us in the industry has taken this on in one form or shape. For us particularly, we call it the 4 Seasons for Good program. And it has 2 pillars. It has the #1 pillar, which is planet, meaning environment, and then social, which means people. As a company, again, that has one of its core pillars, which is the culture and the golden rule, the people aspect has always been critically important. And the way that we show up in a community where we operate and how we give back in that community has always been very, very important. When it comes to the environment, we have adjusted our design standards of the hotel to fully integrate elements that are focusing on reducing the CO2, the carbon footprint in order to drive this aspect, because oftentimes we are also operating in an environment where nature is actually what brings the customer to experience.
No doubt.
And if we don't protect that ultimately made that location the reason for us to be there and celebrate, then we are in the wrong business. So that element you mentioned before, the GRMS system, which is the automated room, that's just one element in order to reduce, of course, consumption, but then how we treat garbage, how we waste management, how we do food waste management, and many, many other elements is of critical importance. So we all, I think, need to be mindful of that, independent of how some policymakers look at this, because they are there for a short period of time.
For sure.
And we are here to stay. The environment is there to stay, and it's on us to protect it.
Well, we could talk about sustainability all day long, but thank you for sharing those details. Let's take a couple of quick questions in here. Saurabh, go for the first one. Describe the future of luxury in Middle East in one sentence.
I think this room says it all. We have all different brands. They're all investing in luxury. But I think some facts here, there are more people going towards luxurious experiences than goods. You know, one of the economists I was reading a couple of days back, they say it's 90% high, the air ticket prices and the hotel rates from 2019, and the super rich are now not investing as much as in the watches and the private jets.
That's the experience economy.
Than the experience, than the, a ticket for Wimbledon or a World Cup is more valuable today than buying a watch. People want that experience. They want to create those memories. And I think luxury in Middle East is that. We have so many events coming up, so many experiences are created. That attracts a lot of tourism, and luxurious companies invest more. Our owners invest more in the luxury segment. I think there's a big gap. We were looking at some reports a couple of days back, and there is a big gap in the luxury market. There's still more demand than supply in the luxury segment. So I think in Middle East, we're in a very safe space when it comes to luxury hotels.
Thank you. Ingo, let's go for the last one. With so many luxury hotels in the region, are we diluting the whole sense of luxury?
I think sometimes there is too much luxury here, and there's not enough accessible products there which are fun, entertaining, and are conducive. I very much enjoyed what our friend from Ennismore reported on 25-hour hotels and things like this. And I think the entire region needs to get a bit more fun and out of the box than into pure luxury. So I believe we're not diluting it, but we should look at more diversification perhaps.
Thank you. Okay, our time's up, but I am going to take one quick trivia in here. As we get off the stage, tell the audience about your favorite non-travel, non-hotel luxury brand, and maybe if you've got a quick 10-second story why you like that brand. Adrian, let's start with you, please.
Okay. You wear Prada shoes, I wear Hermes shoes. And this is a very particular reason.
Don't tell me it's your brand is Prada, because mine is Hermes.
Mine is Hermes. And there is a very particular reason why. Number one, because I have a connection to the family, Hermes. And number two, just like us, Hermes is a mono brand, and they are kind of in control very much. Sometimes it even appears that they're in control of their sales. They sell as much as they want,
for sure.
Just in terms of how much they release to the market, and they kind of control.
That's very true.
Control that. And the other element is, well, no, I probably can't share this, but
now we want to know.
No, I just also like the way that they have their hospitality in their stores, and they try to learn from the gold standard. And we look at each other, and I think it's a good compliment. But I think that mono brand, that I'm not part of a big conglomerate, and I own it.
Thank you. Saurabh?
Yeah, I was going to say Hermes as well, because I think they sometimes come across like they're very arrogant when you go to their shops and stores, but
do you have an appointment?
They're very organized. I think they're very organized. You take an appointment, you go, and they'll really take care of you. But I think what they've nailed it right is the scarcity element. There's not oversupply of
constrained demand,
and that creates massive demand. And that's where I think Hermes is a super brand. Another brand I like, because we spoke about Hermes, is eyewear glass called Dita. It is coming up so strong. It's very, very unique, and it's super luxurious. It's very desirable brand. Something that I really look up to.
Thank you, Ingo.
𝐭𝐚𝐤𝐬𝐻 was the first investor in my first company. Interesting. I like river boats. I like boats and I like cars and I like motorcycles. I think Riva boats are elegant, they're sophisticated. They have now Riva yachts, not only the smaller transportation boats, but larger ones. And I think this is wonderful to cruise with them around.
That's wonderful.
Timeless boats.
Yeah. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, our time's up. Gentlemen, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Let's put our hands together for the incredible discussion. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for that interesting discussion.